Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome by this time for round 2 of the Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championship. And after the dramatic opening round, today we visit Virginia International Raceway. That's sure to provide an extreme challenge for our drivers out on track. I'm Tim Cox. We've got Samuli Kume in the virtual production trailer, but as always, I'm joined by Aaron Smith. Aaron, welcome along. I feel I've only just about got over last week's event. It was drama from start to finish in every single race.
I would also just like to correct you, Tim. It's round 3.
Is it round 3 already? I tell you what, it felt like we had a season's worth of action just in the last round. So thank you on that one. I don't take any offence on that at all. Wow. I mean, here we are, Virginia.
It's a bit of an odd choice for these cars anyway. I don't think we've actually been around here in the Formula 4 cars, at least not in a while, maybe even since it came out. But I think even though it might not at first seem like it would be a track that would suit these Formula 4 cars, I think we're going to get some pretty good racing today, especially that slipstream from corner exit on the back straight from the oak tree. Is gonna going into turn 14. That's gonna be absolute chaos on lap 1.
Of course, F3 they visited here. Well, they've visited here, a fair few times. I think it's about a few seasons ago. Obviously, yourself being a predominantly an F3 driver knows that more than most. And I mean, to be fair, the F3s there's always good action around here with those. And the F4 tends to provide a bit more wheel-to-wheel action. Combative race style compared to the F3, so I think this could be, potentially a bit of a sleeping giant, and especially it's like you say, it's that long run out of turn 12 oak tree all the way down that long back straight up to roller coaster, which makes up turns 13, 14, and 15. That slipstream is just going to be so crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and more so than the likes of Formula 3, as you were saying. These cars provide such close racing. I mean, we're getting it even now in qualifying. People are struggling to find a good gap. Everyone trying to maximize that slipstream. And yeah, I do think this is going to be a very, very close race, especially at the top. And saying that though, at the moment, everyone trying to settle into qualifying, getting their laps done. Oh, that's going to be awkward. few car pile up on the exit of 12, and that's Caponio losing it on the exit of the Oak Tree, and that's gonna dim his qualifying hopes as he's got a bit of damage. He's surely gonna have to bring that car back into the pits.
I mean, amazingly, oh no, the front right corner of the car definitely looking a little bit out of
And
shape. Yes, yeah, there you go. The onboard there completely correcting my view of initially. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. That'll buff out, and yeah, the fact he's just gone on straight on there into roller coaster definitely reinforces that fact. Short qualifying, 10 minutes. This long track, 3.2 miles, 5.2 kilometers if you're of the metric persuasion. Initial pace, it's Schnabel out on pole, the provisional pole sitter, but I mean, due to that long lap length, you're talking around about a 1 minute 46-47 lap time for the drivers. You do not have a lot of chances, and if you get it wrong, I mean, that's it. I mean, realistically, if you do an out lap and then a hot lap, you've only really got two hot laps around here, haven't you, Aaron?
Yeah, and as I was saying before as well, that slipstream on qualifying, it's sort of a double-edged sword. It's like you take that risk of following a car behind and maybe they make a mistake and you catch up to them and it all goes, you know, belly up from there. Or you go out by yourself, have some clean space just to absolutely gun it by yourself, set a good lap. And that's something that even in Formula 3 last season, we had to debate a lot of the time. Like, you had to sort of figure out if it was worth it. These guys clearly think it's worth it getting that slipstream, but yeah, they're going nearly 3 wide down the back straight. Not sure they should be doing this during qualifying, but yeah,
no,
I think
I'm in agreement with you there. It's a bold strategy, isn't it? I think that's the best way to put it. And well, I suppose it depends how much time you think you're gonna gain, or how much time you have gained, versus what you're gonna lose coming into roller coaster. And I mean, these cars do love the slipstream, so yeah, it's quite big on them. So yeah, potentially maybe a bit of an offset there. As Young goes up into second, Aiden Young. Of course, we saw him last night in the Porsche Cup Series. Didn't do too badly indeed. At Apex Racing TV. And Zambra, he's third. Perrin Smith, who's migrated up to the pro category from AM after some really strong displays, certainly in qualifying. To take you through the procedure and the format for this evening. After qualifying, we'll split out into 2 heats. All the drivers in the odd placed qualifying spots, so first, third, fifth, etc. They head into heat 1. The drivers in the even slots, they head into heat 2, where the top 8 will progress straight into the final. And then everyone else will battle it out for the last places in the final through the Consolation, or the B final as it's otherwise known. That's a 14-minute race, grand final being 18 minutes. It comes fast, furious, the action here. Well, if you've seen any of the season prior, you'll definitely know that one for certain. But let's take a little look at the standings for now and see exactly, just bring us up to date with where we are. Schnabel leading the way on 220 points, 16 points clear of Bergson. Aiden Young, he's third with Zambra, Bell, Kelleher, Zemstra, Kaibach, Sale and Moore rounding out your top 10. Bit of a gap starting to emerge between 10th and 11th there. Going to be interesting to see how that progresses. Let's take a look at a little look across into AM. Got the words out eventually there. Tom Minot, he leads the way on 164 points, 13 points clear already at this stage of the season of Laritzen, who's currently in second, the Dane. Garrett Spence, well, the gap of 11 points between him and Laritzen. He's in third. Jay Walsh, and even further gap, so much more spaced out compared to the pros are the AMs, with Toff, Arroyo, Klist, Kirk, Kerr, and Scow running out your top 10. And Aaron, yeah, although there are big gaps in AM, there's still a chance to, make up a lot of space just if you can get yourself into the final, where, of course, we've seen anything can happen. You can end up, jumping quite a few places, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in for this series, it's definitely You have to be quick, obviously, but you just have to be consistent in an AM championship, especially, and obviously more so in pro. But that AM championship, if one thing goes wrong and you don't make it into that A final, it can really, really mess your season up. And yes, you have a few chances to gain it back over the course of the season, but getting in that final every single time is crucial to get those top points. And as we've seen Minot do, especially last round and the round before, he's got good pace and he has that consistency. And you just need to keep your nose clean and you'll eventually come out on top. And I think that will be the winning criteria for this season.
So you see Schnabel there electing to overtake down the back straight. That's clambering so much speed there over. That was behind him. That's well, your second place runner, Streets, the Dane. So, no, apologies, not Dane. The Dutchman. Came with the D. Got that. Luritz improves up into 11th. Top AM qualifier is the AM Championship leader, Tom Minot. So Schnabel, well, Moore goes quicker, then Schnabel goes quicker again. Look at the time difference there, 0.05 of a second. Separating the two top qualifiers, but it's looking at it, I think there's not too many on improving laps, so it's going to take quite a bit of bit. I mean, those two are in a class of their own, aren't they, Schnabel and Moore?
Yeah, I was just starting to think that the gaps around here are, well, massive, to say the least. I mean, from first to third, it's half a second. It's like I'm watching F1 qualifying all over again. It's absolutely huge.
Well, just heading across into our first heat of this evening. Let's take a look at the grid. Schnabel starts on pole with Isaac Phelps starting alongside him. Young and Kaibach relying upon the second row with Zwemscher and top AM qualifier Minot on the third row of the grid. Then it's Wilkinson and Kamala, Russell lines up alongside Gonzaga to round out your top 10 and row 5. Jay Walsh and Clist make up row 6, your first all AM row there. Row 7, that's Arroyo and Toff. Kerr, well, he lines up on the last row alongside Daniel Kelleher, who did not get a time in qualifying. In fact, Toff didn't even, neither did Kerr. So Kelleher's got his works cut out if he wants to try and grab one of those crucial automatic transfer spots into the final. As mentioned, top 8 will be progressing all the way through. And I mean, that's a tall order for the Irishman.
Yeah, 100%. And especially since that top 8 gets through, he's going to have to take some risks during this race. As you know, it really does mess with your head, as some of these drivers will be really, really keen to make it into that final. And he's going to have to try and get past those guys who will definitely be defending hard. And yeah, as you said, he's got a tall order on his hands.
Yes, indeed. We'll just wait for the last few drivers to take to the grid, and then we will be away racing here for Virginia International Raceway. Of course, the newer version recently updated on iRacing. And the Oak Tree, well, it's been gone quite a while in real life, and now it's finally gone here in the sim as well. And I've got to admit, Aaron, it looks a little bit bare down there. It's a bit myself and Samuli, before you joined us earlier, you know, for the broadcast. We say it's really, really odd down there, but here come the lights. Well, let's get ready to go racing for the first time this evening as we are crewing and we are away here, and no messing whatsoever. Schnabel, great reactions, already opening out nearly 0.4 of a second over Phelps as we head down into turn 1 horseshoe for the first time this evening. But it's what's happening in the background there. But Kelleher, what a start he's got. He's already up 6 places. He's already up into 10th, Aaron.
Yeah, well, we said it was going to be a tall order, and he's already nearly completed that order within a few corners. And, well, he's done another one. He's up into 9th. Superb start by him. He's just got to keep it together, gain one more place, and he's already done it.
Of course, it was St. Patrick's Day this week, and he's definitely needs the luck of the Irish with him this week. Well, you would have thought so, but this could be straight into that top 8. No messing whatsoever as we head through 7, 8, 9. And then comes this tricky corner, South Benton 10, just balancing it out, dicing with death right on the knife edge, and you can hear that car bottoming out. So you head through 11 to 12, of course, where the oak tree used to be, runs a bit wide, does Kelleher. But he's going to pick up that slipstream, and he's right on the back of Svenstra. No messing whatsoever. You see Tom Mignot just ahead. He's made a bit of progress early on. He's up one place. Biggest loser was Jorge Gonzaga. He's down 3 places, all the way into 13th as we come on to the brakes, into roller coaster for the first time. Bit of a lock up there, and everyone checking up, and oh no! No, Kelleher has made contact. Oh, and it's all gone wrong after an epic start.
Yeah, that's such a shame. They were too close for comfort on lap 1, and that's really going to cost all of them. And, well, of course, they still have another chance in the B final, but yeah, what an amazing start by Kelleher, but so unfortunate. But here's the battle for the lead. Phelps trying to go for a move around the outside on Schnabel, but Schnabel then gains that inside and is now on the outside of these next few corners. He's going to be under a little bit of pressure from Young behind as well. And they make contact, and that's Schnabel off into the grass.
Well, I thought he was going to, from the start he got Aaron. I thought Schnabel would just clear off into the distance, but right now, he's in a whole world of pain. He's enduring. He's got his fellow countryman, Michael Kaibach, behind him. As we look back from Schnabel, there's a big queue behind him forming, wanting to inflict more pain on the German. Snatch that 3rd place away from him as Kamala. So thank you very much, Michael Kaibach. If you don't want to make an attack, if you want to check up a bit, then I'll have that 4th place from you. They're doing it with epic precision there. So we head through 11 and 12. And this is where Schnabel is going to be vulnerable. He's dropped about a second off Phelps and Young. But he's going to... One of the slight saving advantages for Schnabel is it's quite a long draft range on these F4 cars, or IRA 4 cars, as I should officially call them.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that earlier on, that the drafting is a little bit more powerful than, say, Formula 3, and you have such a big draft distance. I think it is around 1.1 seconds that you do get that draft, which Schnabel will be getting a slight bit of from Young in front, but it's going to be like Road America all over again, with Young and Phelps battling it out for the lead. Let's hope they can keep it clean, unlike last week. But I think maybe Young might be a little bit more cautious, only in this heat though, which would be the smart option, as he's already in, they don't need to fight. And yeah, I think that's hopefully what he's doing right now.
So from that lap 1 incident, we saw Tom Mignot was one of the drivers obviously caught up in that. And after, well, a great qualifying from the AM driver, started on row 3. He's all the way down to 7th in class, 14 overall, dropped 8 spots. Kelleher, of course, down and out with him. And those two, realistically, I mean, never say never, but we're already at 4 minutes 20 out of 10 minutes out of this heat 1 of this evening. It's looking like they have to go again and do it the hard way through the Consolation race. There's Young all over the back, Phelps. I mean, how does he play this one out, Aaron? If you're Young right now, do you just wait for that final lap, or do you go early? Because you know full well, you know, if he keeps this sort of distance, he's just going to walk up to the back of him, down the back straight. Okay. Oh no, that's Jay Walsh around.
Yeah, that's on the exit of Oak Tree, I believe. He's had some kind of incident with someone. But yeah, I think the smart thing for Aiden to do would, as you said, just wait for an opportunity. There's no need to go for a move right now, and he's got Schnabel and the 2 other drivers behind him who could pounce if he makes a mistake, and he's just got to play it safe, and also has to contend with what Schnabel's going to do. Is Schnabel going to go for a move on him, which is looking very likely. Schnabel, we know, has the pace, and well, I think we're going to see a move into turn 1, Tim.
No, 3 wide, that could be a bit dangerous. Then luckily they just back out of it a little bit. Does Young, and Schnabel slots his way into 2nd place. Kamala coming along with them, and now we've got a 4-way fight for the lead on our hands. And don't discredit Michael Kaibach. He might be just looking a little bit off the back of them, You know full well he will be in the fight when it comes round to the final lap. And I mentioned earlier about obviously Jay Walsh, and we saw that spin that he'd had coming out of Oak Tree. I see that Dorian Arroyo is in contact, so I believe he was all part of that incident, unfortunately. So he's retired the car. So Team Simon's Kerr and Arroyo. And of course, Minot and Kelleher carrying a lot of damage and well down off the back of the field. Sticking with this battle for the lead. And Kiteback just dropping off a little bit right now compared to these four up front.
Yeah, he's losing a little bit of time. I think part of that is also his lack of draft that he's getting compared to these guys. But to be fair, I wouldn't worry too much if I was Kiteback. You're in the final. I think he can still be happy if he gets 5th, and you know, who knows what's going to happen with these top 4. They could at any moment all, you know, have one massive pile up and he'll run away straight into the lead. But I think the thing that people don't also realize about these top drivers is their ability to follow each other so close without, you know, making a mistake or running wide, compared to maybe some other drivers. And they just can follow so close and keep clean racing, which is so good to watch.
Basically, you're describing myself there, Aaron. You're describing me and you. You're the one who's able to follow closely. I'm the one who's definitely not. Plays a bit safe, and yeah, that's why I talk about it rather than race. But still, remaining as they were our top 4. Just to give you an update of what's happening a bit further behind them. Svenstra, Wilkinson and Russell all in those automatic transfer spots right now, and well, they're looking comfortable. I mean, Wilkinson is well clear of Russell. He's got about 6 seconds of it. Well, actually, apologise, about 5.2 seconds advantage there. With Toff still work to do, 1.8 seconds behind Russell. So it's more about just those guys bringing it home right now. There is Kevin Svenstra, the lowest of the pro drivers that are going to make it through, currently in 6th. There's Wilkinson. I mean, great showing from Jacob Wilkinson yet again, providing consistency to get himself through. As when the drivers come around next time, they're going to take the white flag, which is going to be 1 lap left to go. What is going to happen up front? Is someone going to make a lunge? Is someone going to risk it? Or are they going to play the numbers game here? Somehow I just get the feel it's going to be the former rather than the latter, Aaron.
And you just never know with these drivers. They at 1 minute might just say, you know what, why not? Let's go for a move. And well, Schnabel is getting ever so close to Phelps into turn 1. Is Aiden going to go for a move? He's getting oh so close to the back of that F4 car, but not any moves that I'm seeing being eyed up right now. As there's Kamala in 4th, trying to eye up a move on Aiden, though. He's going to send it into turn 3 as we go through 4 now. Aiden just manages to stay ahead. That was an optimistic lunge from Kamala, but it's lost Aiden time a little bit to these two up front. And I wonder if Schnabel's going to pounce and use this as an opportunity.
Oh, it's Phelps having a big blink there. That's not going to inspire Phelps' confidence as he pulls alongside him. Then Lex tucked back in behind him once again. It's not a part of a track here through 7, 8 and 9 where you want to be going side by side. You will lose a lot of time. But look how close the German is to the Brit. And also, Young and Kulmala, they're closing up. Here we go, out of Oak Tree. Who's carrying the most momentum? Full aggression. Through turn 12 there from Schnabel. I think that Young and Kulmala are too far back. And equally Schnabel, I don't think he's going to go for this here, but Kulmala, I think this is going to be a lunge into the roller coaster, on the brakes, hold tight everyone, but no, Schnabel pulls out, he goes for the move late on, and they bang wheels, they bang sidebars, and they've just about made it through, but then look at what the run that Young's got, he's going to have to check up. Kamala and Young now queuing up, both willing to have a go at Schnabel, and they go side by side, and they just about avoid one another, and after all that drama for the last few corners, they finished the lap how they started it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. After all that chaos of dive bombs and side-by-side action and even contact, around those final few corners, they still managed to finish cleanly. And as you said, just the way they started. And I'm honestly, I'm happy they didn't end up crashing out, because that was so much fun to watch.
Oh, it was epic fun. So Phelps, Schnabel, Young, Kulmala, Kaibach, Zemstra, Wilkinson and Russell all clinch the automatic transfer spots. They're heading straight through to the A finals. Callisto having a bit of an issue there. That's coming through the final turn, Hogpen. And wow, he's one of the drivers who will have to go again. With Gonzaga and Kelleher, the two pros, not making it through automatically. What can I say? I mean, gutting yet again from Kelleher, because he'd done all the hard work instantly, and then through no fault of his own, just gets caught up in an incident. But first lap, cold tyres, it's always going to happen. Straight into Heat 2. Let's take a look at your grid. Daniel Amor, he's going to start on pole alongside Struges. The Dane, so the Dutchman. I keep saying that Dane. He's a Dutchman. He's from Holland. He starts on the front alongside him. Zambra and Parent Smith make up row 2. Presley and Lauritsen are row 3. Lauritsen your top and qualifier. Hull starts alongside his fellow countryman Kirk, with Spence and Bergerson rounding out your top 10. Caponio and Heron make up row 6, with row 7 being Bell and Sale. And Corey Groves, the Canadian, starts from 15th, all by himself on that final row. But the advantage is you can see everything that's happening in front of you, as here come the lights. Let's get ready to go racing for the second time this evening from Virginia International Raceway, as we are green and we are go. And it looks like there's a bit of a fast start in the background there from Archie Heron and Corey Groves, both gaining places. And likewise Zambra straight into action there. Swiss driver up the inside. Struges. Wow, a great move early on from him, and seems to be getting away a little bit more calmer compared to Heat 1 this Aaron. Well, as you say that, look, there's a bit of contact. There we go, Gareth Spence caught up in that one. I think he ran a little bit wide. He's dropped a few places. Yeah, he's lost 3 places. Well, make that 4 in fact. And they all, well, they're banging wheels once again. It's getting Larry in the back of the field here. It's Caponio, Heron, Spence and Groves will scrap it out. Wanting to finish last. But Podges, Groves and Sale actually both very... Oh, Heron holds tight for that one. Oh, well. Oh, no, the rear's gone from him. That's it. Done and dusted.
I was rather hoping he was going to save that, if I'm being honest. He got so close to keeping it on, but just a bit too much at an angle going into turn 10. But I guess he's still got a bit of a chance in the B final, but he's going to be right at the back. But these guys, the top 3, have a massive gap, nearly 2, actually it is 2 seconds to 4th behind. And I think these guys, I was just about to say they're going to play it smart, but there's a Moore getting all out of shape on the exit of 15 and seems to be holding the guys behind up quite a bit, actually. I thought he would have more pace than this.
Starts to stack up a little bit behind him, but either way, top 3 breaking clear. And here we go into turn 1. What is Zambra going to do? Is he going to have a look on the inside, on the outside? No, elects just to sit behind and more. Allow the Brit to do the hard yards here as Bergson's made progress. He's headed over Lauritsen. Bergson, he's in a great start. He's at 4 places. Likewise, James Bell, teammate of our leader and more in this heat. He's at 4 places into 9th, but still needs to displace Kirk if he wants to clinch that last automatic transfer spot. There's a real battle going on over 8 for 4 cars involved in that one. It's going to be one to keep an eye on all race long if they remain like this. And Theodore Bergson pushing Parent Smith along to try and catch up with the back of Cadence Presley, the American currently in 4th. And can you believe it? They've already opened that top 3. They've already pulled 3 seconds on this group that we're watching right now.
Yeah, they've got absolutely incredible pace, and I think they might also be working together, and maybe these guys are starting to see that they have, I mean, that 3-second gap is huge, and they're only realistically going to gain
Spinner in the background, Aaron. Spinner in the background. I think that was Hull, yes. Joel Hull around I don't know if they've made a good start. It's all gone wrong for the Brit. It's been a good start for Bergson, just trying to progress even more. Bell and Kirk trading places in the background, but running in too deep. That's the 119. That's Cadence Presley.
Oh, he's got to be careful.
Well, it's always dicey joining back here because the grass so icy. Caponio's off too, the Italian.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of mistakes in this race, and I wonder if people are just pushing a little bit harder than they need to. And Bell's off as well, I heard that. Oh, that's a huge impact. And that's coming around the final corner. His car is absolutely total. We're going to look up what happened. He seems to be by himself at the moment, so I wonder what happened. He's trying to come into the pits, and then I guess he just drove into the wall.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some strange ones, but well, that's definitely up there with them and fighting with the best. I mean, it's not the most challenging pit entrance here. If it was somewhere like an Oran Park per se, that's a nightmare of a pit entrance. But it's a bit more gentler, a bit more easier. So a bit of hardware failure. I mean, I just don't know. Just don't know, but well, back to the action up front, and well, they're pulling even more time. But it has been, it's beautiful. Bergerson, he's taking control of the chasing pack right now as the Swede. An incredible 6 places, no messing from him. He's on board with Cyrus Zambra, that is a more in front of us. And they're definitely just working, like you say, Aaron, you called it right, just working with one another here. And I'm not sure whether this is brewing of, let's work together, let's just clear the pack, no messing, and then let's have a bit of a scrap going into the final lap, or I think we're seeing all three of them just play the numbers game here.
Well, I mean, we're definitely going to find out when we do come to that last lap if it is all just, you know, we're going to play it safe, or if it was what you said and just get away for now, and then let's go all out on the final lap, which I think, you know, every point counts in this Pro Championship. And yeah, although they want to be clean right now, they definitely would rather be ahead of one another coming round that final corner on the last lap. So we'll see if they are being friendly with each other or just having a momentary truce for now.
With Presley dropping off the track, that has now pushed him all the way down to 9th, and he has got his fellow countryman Spencer. Oh no, that's Joel Hull. Oh no, that's his second spin he's had in this heat, and well, he's definitely winning one driver. He's going to have to go again. 4 seconds behind of Caponio, but well down on this battle scene right now. The battle for the last of the transfer spots. Spence ahead, the AMP driver ahead of Presley, the pro driver. I mean, surely if you're Cadence Presley here, Aaron, you just wait for exactly where they are and just blaze past Garrett Spence.
Yeah, I mean, when you're racing a different class to you, it's very much... It's difficult sometimes because you do think, oh, they should just let me pass because I'm not their fight. But when it's like this, when it's for the last spot to get into that final, I think the gloves come off, and I think Presley won't really be looking at what class Spence is in, and Spence will just be desperate to get into that final. And I think we're going to see some very, very close racing between these two coming onto the final lap. I think Spence obviously has that advantage having track position right now, but as we know, Presley is no slouch and has a lot of pace, and I expect him to make a move any minute now.
This is the penultimate lap they're just heading out onto. What is going to happen? Who's going to clutch it? It's the battle of the Americans. Spence versus Presley, AMP versus Pro. And you can see the way that Presley's just so much more aggressive over the curbs compared to Spence.
Yeah, that could be different driving styles, different lines that they're taking, and it also could be setup related as well. Maybe Presley has a setup that can handle the curbs a bit better than Spence, which wouldn't surprise me, as you often see pros having a bit better setup knowledge than some of the AMs. But nevertheless, I think it's going to be tough for Presley to get past us. Oh!
Oh! Well, it's definitely going to be tough now. That's it, done and dusted. And I did think he seemed to be a bit over-adventurous with some of those curbs. Clearly he's trying to get into Gareth Spence's mind. With moving around and filling his mirrors. I mean, the only slight consolation from it is that he will start from the front row as things stand in the consolation race. It's equally, he does not want to be doing it the hard way, does Gareth Spence. As a top three come across the line, white flag in the air, 1 lap left to go. Who's going to take it? And more Zambra. Oh, Streets onto the brakes, and there you go. And Amor sitting pretty now, allowing the 2 cars behind him to scrap this one out. Aaron, I'm not sure this is the right. Why is his move? Well, wow. Practically a cigarette paper's width between those 2 wheels. How they avoided contact, I will never know. That is as close as you like.
It's not over yet, though. Zambra has got the slipstream, but as you were saying a few laps ago, going for a move into South Bend, it loses you so much time, and it's not a good overtaking opportunity at all. And wisely, Zambra's just sitting back, and I have the feeling he's going to get the slipstream coming out of this corner. He has a fantastic opportunity. He got a good exit coming out of Oak Tree, and Amor, weave as he may, he can't defend Zambra forever, and Zambra's just going to pull alongside, and he's going to have to be brave onto the brakes. He's going to have the inside line coming into 13, but here comes Strauss right behind. Is he going to try and make it through wide? Wisely, no. Well, they come into roller coaster now. They're getting so close to each other. There's contact. There goes Amor.
Well, from the Aussie.
only the top 4 who make it through, of course, and well, that's not a lot of spots. You have to be quick, and there's a car going very, very wide. I think that's Walsh going off into turn 4, but yeah. Gap in front and behind him. So I think if he can just keep it clean, he's definitely going to make it into that final. And what a journey for him. As you were saying, 11 spots, absolutely incredible for him. But just to go back to what happened to Minor, I think that might have been a hardware failure. It looked very, very strange. And I think from what I saw, I'm not sure he locked the rears or the fronts, but whatever happened to him, he's out of this race, and a real shame as he is, I believe, our leader in AM right now, and that's
He
gonna
is, yeah.
really damage his championship hopes.
It is. It's not the race meeting that he would have hoped for, certainly. Toff is into the pits as well and heading straight back out again. Zambra starting to control this one. 8/10 clear of Heron Hull. Just dropping off a little bit right now, although maintaining relative pace. Puts things into perspective, last time around, the second fastest time was pretty much a tied heat between Heron and Hull, 148.29. Zambra 147.4, 8 times faster than the rest of the field. 8 times. That's a real stamp of authority on this race.
Yeah, I think that's what most people do in Consolations, that where they shouldn't be. And I've been in this situation before where something happens in one of your heats, it goes badly, and in the B final, you want to assert your authority. You want to be the quickest on track. You want to win. You want to say to people, I do not belong here. I should have gotten into the main final. And you, oddly, in this race, you push quite hard, even if you're in the lead. And yeah, Zambra's setting some really, really good lap times right now. And if he can do that during the A final, you never know. He could make it into the top 10 within, well, just seconds, probably.
Well, it's going to be fascinating to see, of course, the top four will start from the back 2 rows of the grid. Slightly further down and already, man. I mean, Zambra, he pulled out that big gap of about 7 tenths, but it's only just gradually creeping up bit by bit. Heron now he's lost a further 2 tenths to the Swiss driver in front of him. Today, what's happening behind these two? Hull and Kerr still remain in the automatic transfer spots. With Kerr, well, 4 tenths clear now of Gonzaga. Last time around,
Kerr's doing some good laps.
yeah, I mean, perspective. A 148.1 from Kerr last time around. Gonzaga was a 149.4. Something's happened to Caponia. Oh, I think we've had another assignment.
It's only the top 10 now.
I know it gets a bit more fraught, and you know, there's more battling goes on in this race because you know your last chance to try and make the final. But it's been a bit of a war. It's been a bit of a war of attrition here, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a challenging circuit as well. I mean, there's lots of complex corners, lots of camber changes, elevation changes as well. As we see, Kelleher. I mean, what could it have been for him if he hadn't have had that, you know, that spinner in front of him? Which I think that was Minot, wasn't it, in his heat? Who just lost it in front of him, no fault of his own. Just trying to do the hard yards right around the outside of Kliss to not making Kelleher's life too easy.
Hull's made a mistake.
He has, hasn't he?
That's another mistake for Hull. As we saw, I think it was in Heat 1, I believe, he just kept making mistake after mistake. And yeah, coming into turn 4 now, yeah, just too much understeer and lets Liam Kerr past.
Wow. Bit of a turn up for the books.
Kelleher's out.
Wow.
It's all happening now, isn't it? I mean, we just cut away from him as he was going for a move into, I believe this is turn 3. Oh dear, that's a huge crash for him, and deeply, deeply frustrating. As Tim was saying, what could have been for Kelleher. He had good potential, but it just wasn't meant to be for him, unfortunately.
No. And that looks like that's another retirement now. I mean, he got the pace to be able to pull off that move over Kliss, but I mean, I think bit of a, from our perspective anyway, it looks a little bit 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I'd say about Kerr, though, you know, he stuck past Hull, he hasn't truly got away. 2 tenths-ish gap between these two. So they come onto the brakes into turn 1, 9 minutes 20 complete out of 14. So we're stuck with about another 4 laps remaining here. As
Heron's made a mistake.
I'm sure I just heard tyre smoke. There he is, he's off!
Oh, this is going to get very interesting now.
I mean, his only saving grace is that, I mean, he's only going to drop a row on the grid. And these two that have just come through, Kerr and Hull, have got, you know, they had a massive buffer to Gonzaga of, right, I mean, look at that. I mean, it was 4 seconds between Hull and Gonzaga. Heron slips into that gap and, well, it's still a solid 3 seconds. But I mean, Zambra's going to win this one at a counter. Well, I mean, or is he? I just give up trying to predict this one because all of a sudden it just flips on its head and changes and evolves. You can see that's the gap. Zambra already, you know, halfway up the back straight by the time these guys exit Oak Tree. Still up for grabs is this second, and I think Hull's going to push Kerr all the way to the end.
And, well, obviously don't count Heron out, as he has pretty good pace as well. He was only a few tenths slower than Zambra following him, and we'll see what he can do behind these guys. And this is the thing, I don't know if these guys should fight, because there's no points for the top 4 in this race, so it wouldn't make a difference. And it only changes your grid spot by a maximum of 4 places. So...
Well, no, it's not even that, is it? It's 2 places, because, say, if you're Heron, and you take second, I mean, realistically, they're not catching Zambra.
No.
So, but a massive mistake from Zambra, of which he's just faultless. He just set another new fastest lap of the race, 1:46.8. Put in perspective, these guys, the fastest of them last time around was Liam Kerr. He did a 48.3, so nearly 1.5 seconds quicker last time around was Zambra. 1.5 seconds. That is a big margin.
Just a little bit, yeah. It really does show that Zambra... I think we're going to see a strong comeback from him in the A final, and that's going to be very interesting to watch. Albeit, maybe something might happen to him, but let's hope that he can make it through without incident. But yeah, Kerr at the moment up 13 spots, which is just absolutely incredible. He's just kept it clean, set some decent lap times, and is keeping the 2 guys behind him in his back pocket. There's a little bit of a blink for him, but I think he's got this in the bag, you know.
I think he has, because, I mean, Hull has caught up to the back of Heron. I can only see those 2 getting into one another, trying to make moves coming into roller coaster. It says that they remain as they are, but that's where I see the true battle's going to happen. It's that battle over third. But like you say, it's still immaterial. They're still going to be starting from exactly the same row. And if anything that we've learned, starting from the back, you seem to get a big old jump. We saw it from Heat 2, wasn't it? From Kelleher. We saw it from Kerr, in fact, in this race as well. Able to make swathes of places up. But equally not done and dusted. So white flag is in the air, 1 lap left to go from Virginia International Raceway. And I mean, what can we say about this young man? Faultless. Faultless in this B final.
Yeah, it really does show that he definitely deserved to be on that top step last race. And yeah, it was an unfortunate incident for him, definitely. And, well, he's not made any fuss about it from, obviously, what we know. He's just gotten on with this race, been like, right, well, it's happened. I need to get back to where I belong, get done in the A final. And I do really think he's got something special planned for that A final. He could possibly end up in the top 5. That's my prediction.
That's big and it's bold, and I absolutely love it, Aaron. And do you know what? From what we've seen this season, the one thing you can predict is the unpredictability of this series, and anything can happen and will happen. There's last few corners to go for Zambra. He's going to click the victory in the B final, and just keeping half an eye on what's happening behind him. That's all remaining. Looks like pretty stagnant. They're going to be heading into a roller coaster now, so I think they're going to remain as they are. But congratulations, Tyro Zambra taking the victory in the B final. Now, what is happening behind? Well, they've played the numbers game. They've done the sensible thing. Kerr takes second, Heron and Hull third and fourth.
Yeah, up 13 spots. That is something from the Aussie, and he will definitely be happy with that. These rest of the battles are just for a bit of racing fun, I guess, since this is going to be the last of the action for them tonight as Clist, and I believe this is Toth fighting it out for last places. Yeah, we've only got 9 finishers, but Arroyo getting a nice jump on the exit of roller coaster as they come around the final few corners, and there's contact between them, and Clist gets sent round. Oh, yeah, no, never mind. It was the battle for 7th between Arroyo and Clist, and Toth is way further back than these guys. But Yeah, these guys racing for today comes to an end as they round off our final few drivers to cross the line. But wow, what a interesting B final.
Yeah, it had everything in abundance, really, didn't it? I mean, it kept us on the edge of our seats right to the very end of it, and wow, wow. Oh, deep breath now, I think, to try and prepare us for the final coming up very shortly. Just going to head into a quick practice session. Bit of a mention to one of our sponsors, Apex Racing Academy. We have data packs and setups, track guides for road and oval racing. Their setups help you go faster on track, and also we have some brilliant group and one-on-one coaching sessions to really help your performance and go faster in iRacing. Make sure you check those guys out. Title sponsor for this series. Wow. So, are we going to see, Aaron? Are we going to see a charge from the back? I guess from what you're saying that it's got to come from Tyro Zambra. I mean, I think I've been deliberating it over in my head of how it's going to play out. Okay, so let's write the story of what we're going to see in the final. I think top 3, 4, they'll just break away. I think Zambra will make up places, but it won't be enough to catch the top group because I think they'll just check out. Parent Smith is overdue an epic result. I think he just pulls one out of the bag and does something amazing. Gutted there's now Daniel Kelleher. But I think ultimately, your podium is Amor, Phelps and Schnabel. How they finish on that podium, I don't know.
It's going to come down to the last lap, I think. I really do. They're going to be racing for 18 minutes and one little mistake.
That's all. Yeah, that is all it takes. Is one mistake. Let's talk about AM. We've got AM drivers into the final. My money. Who am I putting my money on? I'm genuinely still not sure on that one. I think that's going to be a fascinating one, and I think that's going to evolve and change. Again, coming down to who gets what start, but then also on top of that, a bit of luck, because I think it might get tight in that midfield pack.
Yeah, I definitely think so, and we had a good battle for the AM leaders in, I think it was Heat 2, and Laritzen, I think he might have the edge, but of course we've got Kerr starting from the back who could, do what he did in the B final and come up 13 places. And of course we have Minot, who we know is quick. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in agreement with you. I'm not sure. It's anyone's game at this point.
I think you summed that up very, very nicely. But one thing I do know is that SDK Gaming have a 14-day free trial. The most accurate live timing software on iRacing with fuel calculators, mini maps, enhanced relative boxes, and much more. We also use it for broadcasts, your races as well, like we do for all of our broadcasts here at Apex Racing TV. Make sure you check them out. So, warm-up session, that has come to an end. We're across into the race section. Here we go. Let's take you through your grid. Phelps alongside Shoes with Schnabel and Amor on the second row of the grid. Aiden Young has got Theodore Bergson with him on the third row. Kamala, he's on the fourth row with Parent Smith. Kaibak and your top AM starter and running at the top 10 is Laritzen. Zumstra lines up alongside Kirk for row 6, row 7. That's Wilkinson and Spencer all AM row. Philip Russell and Kenneth Bresley start on row 8. Row 9 is Zambra and Kerr, with Archie Heron and Joel Hull lining up on the final row of the grid. Here come the lights. Let's get ready to go racing for the final time this evening. What is going to happen? Let's find out together as we're green. We are racing. And I did spot Zemption making a good start in the background there. So did Parent Smith. Parent Smith not making any background as we go well. Try to make it 3-1 into turn 1. That's brave. Although in the background they're having a good go at it. Lost to 2 what is happening. Russell, I think, has come off track slightly. He's dropped places. Not the start that the Brit would have hoped for whatsoever. And his aspirations in the AM category. But it's close. It's tight. Fighting over the same tarmac. Oh, there's an incident. Someone goes skywards, and that's Lorentzen.
I cursed him, didn't I?
I did as well. You're not alone there. Oh, it's all gone wrong for the Dane as he falls to the back of the field. Archie Heron, what a start from him. He's up 6 places. He's following Zambra through. He's up 5. Those two 12 and 13 respectively. But as you like it, up front, everyone knows the tail. As Amor says, thank you very much. I'll have third place. Oh wow, we've got a real 5-way battle here for the lead. Young isn't too far behind. He'll want to chase these guys down, but Schnabel trying to take control early on, pulls alongside Phelps. Who's going to be last late breakers? Who's going to pull this one off? And Phelps squeezes Schnabel to the inside before opening up the corner, trying to really distract the German as onto the brakes. They're all queuing up behind. There's contact, Kolmala. I think, oh no, he's managed to save it. I thought he was heading around. I just saw it in the corner of my eye. Collects it. Cool, calm, collected. Somehow Parent Smith gets a little bit wide. He saves it. Oh, wow, we've only had lap 1. I was all into the pits because Bergerson.
Yeah, I wonder if...
he didn't get that slowed down in time.
No, yeah, that's not damage. I can't see anything wrong with that car. Excuse me, but yeah, these guys are fighting for 3rd place, 4th place, excuse me, and I think they're battling way too hard. It's early in the race, and the guys in the top 3 have already pulled away by about 2 seconds nearly. They just need to stop doing that and sending it into every corner, as it's very entertaining for us, but it's ruining their races.
Well, you've taken the words out of my mouth. It is ruining their race. It's providing great entertainment for us up here in the commentary. Just keeping an eye on those biggest movers. 3-way tie for that. All up 7 places are Zambra, Heron and Hull. Since the race come our top 3 who are breaking away. I got one part of my prediction right. It'll be these 3 breaking away. Oh no! Around! Oh no! And that's not what you want to see.
Kamala and Strues, I think.
No, they're down and out. The black marker of death has crossed their name out for a chance of victory here today. Well, maybe I've gone a bit too early. As Kai back now up into 4th. And Aiden Young falling behind him. Great run from Kai back there. Archie Heron making good progress. He's now at 10 places. Zambra up 9. And Hull up 9 as well. So they two benefiting them. Picking up some freebies.
I think Kamala's made another mistake as well. They're still battling.
He's fallen right out, hasn't he? He's all the way down in 17th.
Yeah, that's really going to cost him for the rest of the race. But I told you Zambra had something up his sleeve. He's already in this battle. And I said he might be able to get a top 5. Well, there it is. It's in his eyesight already. And we're only on lap 3, I believe. And there's cars off in the background.
Oh, that's a big shot.
Yeah, that's like 3 or 4 cars off.
Oh,
be careful!
Hull caught up in that. He was one of our fast starters. Wilkinson too. I'm trying to catch you the other car here. Cadence Presley, that's who it is. Wow. It is getting tough out there. And well, while it's going on, Zambra taking control of this group. You can see Kaibak breaking away. Doesn't want to let him go. But what can Zambra do? Can he bring Parent Smith along to the right? And I'll tell you what, Aiden Young is not having the final that he would have hoped for. As he's down into 7th.
Yeah, I think he's been really unfortunate as well with the positioning that he's been in. Of course, he had to avoid that huge crash between Strohs and Kamula. And Yeah, he lost a bit of time doing that, and I think as well, the positioning of his car when all of these guys are trying to go for an overtake with that slipstream has really not benefited him at all. But he's still got about another 13 minutes to try and gain those places back, as Zambra just looks to have the edge on these three behind him. And I think Zambra might be able to reel Kai back in, but I don't think Kai back will be able to reel the top three in, who are absolutely running away with it.
They are, and Schnee was saying the fastest lap of the race last time around. And they were, well, in comparison to Kaiback, they were around about 4 tenths quicker than him. In regards to Zambra, Zambra about a tenth or two behind them, so yeah, I think you're right. I think Zambra catches up to Kaiback, passes him, but
Ooh, that's Phelps off. He's managed to get it back on the track though.
He's big mistake from him. He's lost a bit of time. I mean, he's lost about a second, but he's not down there. He's going to have to drive the wheels off that car. And where's the Aaron if he? He's dropped to 1.4. I think this could be the moment where Amor and Schnee will break free and head off into the distance, and Phelps is cut adrift.
We've seen that mistake under braking a lot coming into 4A and B, where people just can't seem to get that braking right and either lose the rear completely on corner entry, or just get so much understeer on exit and run off into the grass. And he managed to keep it on just about, but yeah, he might be down and out for the fight for the lead unless Amor and Schnabel have some kind of coming together, which don't count that out. We've seen it a few times tonight, especially in Heat 2, and this man is going to be under pressure from the man who was a victim of those crashes, as Zambra is looking really, really feisty at the moment.
I thought, I was thinking maybe it doesn't appear to be too warm out there today, but bands of weather. Really pleased to know it's a nice cool track temperature of 19 degrees Celsius, ambient 18 degrees. So it's not like it's not like it's a hot track that's causing these issues at all.
It's basically perfect.
Come Zambra up the inside of Kaiback, and this is surely going to be 4th place for Zambra. Yes, it is. Job done. Kaiback no answer, trying to look for a bit of a switchback, but it does mean Parra Smith-Young and nearly the effervescent Kevin Zemscher coming along for the ride and trying to turn this into a much bigger fight than what Zambra would have hoped for. Wow, we're 10 minutes remaining of the final, and as predicted, look, Amor and Schnabel have completely and utterly dropped Phelps, and if anything, I think Phelps is losing time and he's going to get enveloped, and I think into that group behind the chasing pack, and that could be interesting because that all of a sudden is going to be a big fight over the last place on the podium.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as I was saying, unless something happens to these top two, it's going to be a battle for that 3rd place. And the slipstream showing how important it is. And if you're not in it, you're just going to fall behind, as we are seeing right now for the battle for 3rd place, as Phelps, as you were saying, is just falling behind. And also we can see it for the battle for 9th, as Heron has fallen away from Zwemstra now. 6 seconds. And this might be Schnabel's opportunity. He's going for a move into the final few corners, but Amor just about manages to stay ahead and got a very good exit around that final corner, and has allowed Phelps and the cars behind just to close in a little bit more. And do you know what? If they keep fighting, this might get really, really interesting, and we could potentially see the top 8, if it stays like this, battling for the lead. It's a long shot, but it is.
It is. And, I mean, Amor, he did a great job. He pulled out about half a second on Schnabel, although Schnabel's taken a further 2 attempts out there. So I think that was more from Amor's, where he lost time, against everyone else. Because Phelps has closed the gap up between himself and Amor by about a couple of tenths too. So it's I'll say more a slight mistake from the Brit more than anything. Like you say, that if these two keep getting into one another, we're scrapping away, it's just going to bring these guys in. And Phelps is, chip away a little bit more, and he's going to be in draft range. He's going to be there, isn't he, Aaron? Which means he's then going to catch up on these even quicker. It's what Zambra can do, because he's 2 seconds behind Phelps, roughly. Well, about a second and a half, apologies. 2 3/4. It's a lot to make up, that. It's a lot to make up, but, I mean, if anyone can, Zambra can.
Yeah, and we know Zambra has incredible pace, as we saw in that B final. He was setting 46s, whereas these guys are setting 47.7s at the moment. So if Zambra can just put his foot down a little bit more, he could be in it.
I mean, it's fascinating to watch. I thought Zambra would pass Kai back, and I thought, right, that's it. He'll catch up with those guys in front and leave Clive Parham Smith, Youngs, and Northamptonshire for dust. It hasn't happened. They're playing ball here. They're working with Zambra. They know he's quick. Let him punch a hole in the air and drag you along for the ride up onto the back of Phelps. Spencer's got past Kirk. That's for the lead in AM and 10th overall. That move, well, you're just about done and dusted. Actually, that's a fascinating battle, because all three of our cars, actually, no apologies, no, that's Kirk at the rear. I thought that was Russell. It's not. Philip Russell, a little bit, about 2.7 seconds behind this little group, but still, first and second in class, battling out over 10th overall, and Heron only just in front of them. I mean, going for Archie Heron, he lost a lot of time early on, and I think he's another one who could have been up there in that fight for the front. There is the Brit. He's got, well, Spence and Kirk not leaving him alone whatsoever. 6 minutes left in the final.
Again.
Hits on, isn't it? And I think this could be advantage Schnabel. Yes, it is. Emerges out of the dip. And he is ahead of Amor. But look at Phelps. It's 1.1 seconds the gap, Aaron. And Zambra is only 1.4 seconds behind Phelps. This is going to be an interesting 6 minutes.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what these guys. I mean, the smart thing would not. The smart thing to do would be not to battle, which I think Amor has finally realised. And because I mean, they obviously have a relative. They can see that they're catching, and I think Amor might be the smart one here. As well, he's gonna have to. It does give him a little bit of a harder task to win this race, but it means that he's not at risk from falling into the hands of Phelps, Zambra, Kaibak, and that group behind them. But I don't know. I honestly, anything can happen in these final few minutes.
Look, there you go. I think that's where Amor knows, because he's bump drafting Schnabel now. Knows that they're in a bit of trouble here. They're losing that time, like you mentioned. I think that I would imagine here, Aaron, you're going to see Amor bump drafting Schnabel all the way out of 13, so 12 down to 13 here.
Yeah, definitely. He does have that slipstream, but like I was saying, I'm not sure if battling is going to be the smart choice. We're going to see now if he is going to battle, and no, he's just going to sit behind and bump draft Schnabel and try and get away from the cars behind. But I've also just realised something that, well, Amor and Phelps are teammates, so does Amor try and bring Phelps into this, and they can both pounce on Schnabel together, because Schnabel's closest teammate is Zwampstra down in 8th. So do they play the team game, or does Amor just try and do it all by himself? As Phelps is only 9/10 behind now, that gap is closing, and well, Amor's just got to play these mind games for these final few laps.
Will Lennart Schnabel crack? 3.5 minutes left in the final here from Virginia International Raceway. Round 3 of the Apex Racing Academy F4 Championship.
Phelps
and Amor
is closing in.
He is, isn't he? I mean, it's that power of the draft, isn't it? We spoke about. I mean, Zambra's just on that agonising cusp I think all you can hope and pray for is that these three get back up close together. Certainly, come the end of the back straight, Phelps is going to be onto the back of these two once again. Do they start battling? If they do, that's the only way I think Zambra and Co are going to get into this fight and disrupt and upset that podium rhythm. 3 attempts taken out of it before they even reached Oak Tree. I mean, Zambra is desperate to have someone bump draft him to push them along and bring them up, but it's happening. I'd say that's happening. Oh, no, it's not happening. A more pulls out on Schnabel. Here we go. Who's going to break last? What is Phelps going to do? Is he going to have a bit of a look? No, he backs out, decides against it. Advantage of more. He's overtaken Schnabel. And now Schnabel is the Alcantech meat in a TNT esports sandwich.
I also believe the guys behind are battling as well. So I saw Young and Smith trading places, as Young now has fallen back from Kaibak. So everyone's just starting to split away in that mid pack. And there's Phelps looking up the inside a little bit. He gets very loose on the exit of turn 1.
Well, what worries me, Aaron, is what they've done to the tyres. The same goes for Zambra behind as well. I mean, Kaibak's done a brilliant job to keep with Zambra. As Spencer and Heron swapping places further down through the field. Because have they cooked them in just pushing so hard to catch up? Do you think that's maybe what we saw from that wiggle from Phelps or not?
I think maybe Phelps was just a little bit put off by Schnabel opening and then closing the door. I don't think Tileware is playing too much just yet. Oh, that's both Schnabel and Phelps getting it onto the grass, but manages to keep it on just about. Good car control from those both. Just about keeping it on, but Zambra is closing slowly, and there's I think that's Young and Smith off in the background.
Well spotted, Aaron. Both going rally crossing there on the exit of Oak Tree, but up in front. Under a 10th covers our top 3. They almost go 3 wide into the braking zone, and Schnabel behind. There's contact.
3 of them.
They've all gone off, Aaron.
Zambra's in the lead.
Kaibak is to second and more into third. What is happening here? Drama in the closing stages. And look at the clock. Are they going to come across the line? Yes, the checker flags out.
Zambra's won it. Zambra's won it on the final corner, and Kaibak comes home in second. That is an incredible finish.
Wow.
What have we just witnessed? What has just happened?
Yet again, it has not failed to deliver in drama right to the very end. It just got... Schnabel gets squeezed. It's hard to tell from the TV angle. As much as that is a brilliant angle, you can see all 3 cars coming in there.
That is
maybe the helicopter.
an extra contact as well.
I mean, it was just desperate. We've all been there, haven't we, Aaron? It doesn't matter what iRacing you are. It's that mad panic of trying to get back on. So this is on board from Isaac Phelps' perspective. Look at that overspeed he's got. He then gets blocked in. And he just... was it a bit of understeer when he was trying, or just trying to open up the corner and squeeze?
I think that was. I think that was a mix of both, because Schnabel had a bit more room to the right of him, and Phelps had a bit more room to the left, and they sort of just gravitated towards each other. And then, unfortunately, Amor was an innocent bystander in that, and that's a real shame for Amor. Oh man, he still came home in 6th, which was better than where Schnabel and Phelps finished. But wow, this Pro Championship has just been flipped on its head. And who thought? Zambra coming from basically last to win the race. Incredible result for him. I'm at a complete loss for words at what just happened. And yeah, wow.
I thought after Road America last week, I thought, I mean, Yeah, I think that just says everything. You know, we had drama there all the way to the end. We had some incredible finishes there. But here again, it's just... I mean, in some ways, it's taken it up to another level. You just cannot tell what is going to happen. It's so fiercely contested. Here are your results. Cyro Zambra up 16 places. Clinches victory here at Virginia International Raceway in round 3 of the Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championship. Michael Kaibach in the end coming home second, and Daniel Parron Smith on the podium in the final for the first time this season. Arguably where he should have been many a times. Aidan Young in the end 4th, Kevin Swemstria 5th, then Daniel Moore down into 6th. Archie Heron, well, remember he had a big incident, didn't he, early on? Fell down from the field, finishes 7th. Garrett Spence takes the win in AM, with Kirk and Russell 2nd and 3rd in class. Those 3, 8th, 9th and 10th respectively. Strauss 11th, Presley 12th, Joel Hull comes home 13th, Wilson Laritzen, they finished 14th, 15th. And remember, Laritzen, he had that incident on the opening lap, didn't he? It looked like he was completely out. So not a bad result and a good recovery drive from him. Kamala comes home in 16th. Schnabel in the end. 17th. Phelps must have towed, because yes, well, he was completing the wall, so he would have had to. Finishes 18th on lap down. Liam Kerr, disappointment for all the Aussie. I mean, let's not forget what a race he had to get himself into the final. Comes home in 19th for 7 laps down, and we lost Theodore Bergson on the opening lap. He is 20th. Wow. Let's try and unpick this somewhat, Aaron, and let's have a bit of a chat to some of our drivers. Now joined by Cyro Zambra. I mean, we could see, we knew you had pedigree to get a decent start in this final after controlling the consolation race. But I think coming onto that final lap, I mean, it seemed like you've been pushing so hard. What were the state of your tyres? Because it seemed like you were struggling a bit at times. And I don't think you could have expected to take the victory today.
Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome race. I'm still... Oh my god, I'm so sweating right now. And oh my god. I mean, yeah, the heat race wasn't very good. Lost lap crash. But then just did the best out of the situation, really. And yeah, at the end I mean, tires were getting worse, but I just tried to get everything out of the car, you know.
Well, it absolutely worked. And as you came through, you know, obviously, I mean, did you have any sight of what was happening up in front of you on that final lap? And, you know, coming towards it, I mean, myself being, you know, far inferior of a driver to yourself, how do you not get so, you know, giddy and excited and, like, you know, just remain focused with all that happening and looking like all of a sudden you can take the victory?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking forward and I saw them 3 wide and I was like, oh, I gotta be cautious, you know, that's probably not gonna end well, because that's a very hard turn to overtake. And yeah, it worked out pretty good then for me.
Most certainly. Well, congratulations. 2 amazing recoveries in this round. Cyro Zambra, you'll win it here today from Virginia International Raceway. Now,
Thanks.
Talking of winners, Aaron, I believe you're standing by for our AM winner, Garrett Spence.
Hello, Garrett again. You managed to get the dub this week, and after a pretty decent Road America, you've gone even better here. How do you feel?
If I thought I was tired at the end of Road America, that was exhausting. That was quite the fun battle. I had such a blast with that 3-way battle, and no, I'm elated. Could not ask for more. A lot of respect given from everybody around, and led to a really fun race. From especially like my heat was a little crazy, but the final, you know, just being a little patient and then trying to have fun, and it turned into a real battle. And huge shout out to Christopher for, you know, giving it to me, and then still still holding it in there and having shown me a lot of respect. That was a lot of fun. Couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, you can definitely be happy with that result, coming away with the win. Going into next week, do you think you're going to be able to replicate what you did here at VIR, or do you think maybe you're just going to hope to finish the race?
You know, honestly, I don't even know where we're going next week. Just was focusing on this week. So if you give me one moment, I can tell you. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be spicy.
Montreal,
Yeah.
Canada. It's, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, you know, Long Beach is a death trap because of the walls and such like. Which, you know, Philly is being a street circuit, whereas Montreal's more associated with being, you know, a normal, you know, road circuit. But if anything, it's more dangerous because it's so narrow
Yeah.
and the walls are right up against
Right
the
there.
narrow track. Especially, and everyone says about the Wall of Champions being the worst corner. For me, it's actually about turn 3 where the track really narrows up and you're pushing it right up against the wall on the exit out of the second chicane.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of chaos from that, and I think it'll be really just who can survive through the first couple laps. But I think, you know, qualifying is going to be a huge deal next week for that. I actually do like the track, but I also kind of fear it just because, yeah, like you're saying, going into turn 3, the hairpin. Turn 1, actually, for a lot of people, tends to be quite the struggle. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good challenge. Hopefully it's entertaining for all of us.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, Garrett, and well, we can only hope that you go and get an even better result next week.
You know, I wouldn't complain, that's for sure.
It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Have a good
Thank
rest
you,
of your day.
guys. You too. Bye.
Well, that's now joined by Daniel Parent-Smith. Daniel, I mean, I was really intrigued to see how you get on because we saw great pace from you at Hungaroring in the opening round. You've obviously then been promoted up into pro because of that amazing pace and pedigree you were showing. You've had a few incidents in the opening couple of rounds, and I mean, does this feel like a bit of a weight lifted off your shoulders coming away with a podium here today?
Yeah, it was really nice to finally get some kind of result. Obviously, I've been working quite hard for it the past couple of weeks. Obviously, having a little contact at Hungaroring speared me in the wall, which is unfortunate, but it happens, doesn't it? And then we had some problems with setup and stuff in the next round. But no, it's really nice to finally have a podium in, a really good series, and it's really well run as well. So yeah, it's really good.
Good stuff. And I mean, just sort of talking through your race, especially that final. I mean, the midfield, it was tight at the best of times. I think that's putting it mildly.
Yeah, I think to be fair, around this track, toe is everything. So if you get off the latch of the toe, you're falling way back. So it's all about just keeping minimal steering movements and staying in the toe the whole way around. Obviously, Isaac Phelps had some problems with his screen, so he dropped back out the toe, and that really hurt him a lot. But he managed to catch back up at the end. But no, it was a really good race, and it was a really big hack as well.
Most certainly. And well, just briefly, how do you feel for Montreal next week? Sorry, it's completely silence, Polly. We've got a drop week next week, haven't we?
Yeah, I'll be really good. I think I'm really good around Canada, so it's one of my strongest tracks actually in the whole season. So I should be aiming for the first position there.
Well, don't want to put the curse of the commentator onto it, but good luck for that one. It's Dan Parent-Smith, who finished third here today at 5 places in the final. Well, Aaron, I seem to say this every week. I may as well just record myself and then play a tape out of it. I'm in need of something far stronger than coffee after that one, and a cold, dark room to try and just recover from what we've witnessed here today. Your closing thoughts?
Hopefully next time out we can not have a top 3 who crash within the last few quarters of the race.
Wow.
We didn't even realize that was the final lap as well.
No, I mean, it just coming at you so frantic, especially this long lap, bit hard to tell. But wow, what a drama race it is, field race it has been yet again. Congratulations, Cyro Zambra, victory overall, incredible 16 places. Garrett Spence, your winner in AM. Oh, wow. It's not failed to deliver. It's been another week in the Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championship. Round 3, well, it's 3 times the drama. It just builds every time. Can we experience more in round 4 at Montreal in a couple of weeks' time? Tune in to find out. If you love your single-seater racing, don't go anywhere, because in around about 15 minutes on the channel, myself and Aaron making a quick hop across the Atlantic to Spa for Formula Renault 3.5. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you very shortly. From myself, Tim Cox, Sula Camino and Aaron Smith, thanks very much and goodbye.